It's game on once again with the game night, specifically nightly news.
Hey.
And so, I have 2 items to discuss in regards to nightly news to kick us off. Oz usually has the news items, but I'm getting a jump on him.
But as usual, I am woefully unprepared.
So, the first thing is we want people to understand the nature of nightly news. Please do not look to us as an authoritative source. We are not here to deliver the news. The purpose of nightly news is for us to react to it. Just like a group of mates saying, hey, did you see this article? And we will question if certain articles are valid or not. And this is just about our reaction and response and having a discussion with you. That's nightly news, okay? Get your, find authoritative sources that are accurate, and that's pretty hard these days, honestly.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
You know who's an authoritative source? Tim Pool. Check him out. Search Tim Pool Timcast. He's great.
He does a good job to try and,
No, he's
check.
incredible. He's incredible. Love that guy.
So so don't look to us. We're not a news source. We're a reaction source, and where we just meme and joke and have fun and share our thoughts. It's about sharing what we think.
It's all for the great Keck.
So the next bit of news is more related to the channel. I'm wondering if we need to update the channel name. We do game content, but not nearly as much as would justify. And I'm dubbing. This is the first time they're hearing I've even considered this.
But
Right?
this is
Because people have already been saying it should be like movie nights, and I don't agree that it should be, because that also typecasts us too much into a box. Now, we've been trying to justify it saying, it's just game because we're bringing the game with that game kind of stuff, and we still do games and stuff, and we'll be doing more games later, but we definitely, the roundtable discussions is going to be a mainstay, and we're going to be looking at movies and pop culture and all that stuff. Same with nightly news. And so I kind of get it, and I'm wondering, is there a name that would more accurately represent us, still get the double entendre kind of thing? It'd still be knights, like the theme of the swords and everything.
We are
and
knights.
So some ideas I was like, could we just call us the Edge Knights? We're a bit edgy here, but we're not full on. We're not all the way
That's the
edge.
thing. I'm the edgy one.
I was there like, what are other things? Could we just call ourselves the Review Nights? And there's a bit of a tundra. It's a night time to review stuff, but also the Review Nights, the Story Nights.
What about the Lame Nights?
The Lame Nights? What about
every other name sucks.
the Stuff Night? We just do stuff? The Stuff Nights?
Game Nights. What's wrong with Game Nights?
And so that's the other thing. Is like, we can just keep it.
Our
Let us
main
know in the
competitor.
comments.
Our main competitor is called Commander Zone.
The thing is, though, that is actually an issue about search and discovery. Like, when they look up Game Nights, only the channel comes up, right? None of the videos. Because the Command Zone channel has a playlist called Game Nights, and they have Game Nights literally in every single video that they make. And so when anyone looks up Game Nights, they're flooded with the Command Zone stuff.
Yeah.
No shade against you guys.
Yeah.
They have that famous rapper dude on with them. What's his name?
I forget his name.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the tats on his face.
Yeah, the guy that looks like a weirder version of me.
Kind of like a person that's had their face put in a meat grinder and then reassembled with ink.
Yeah, Takashi 69.
Wow.
I don't like face tattoos, alright? I don't think it helps.
They
Is it
don't
like the
look
guy
good.
with the
Unless you're
rainbows
Maori.
and-
I forget his name. Who cares? He's
Lil
a rapper.
Pump?
Not Little Plump. He's just a rapper. Who cares? Who gives a crap? But yeah, no. So they're famous, more famous than us. But who cares? We're the Game Nights.
Yes.
You know, we're Team Oz.
Let us know in the comments, or suggestions if you think it could be a more appropriate name.
I'll tell you a more appropriate name. Team Oz.
No.
Team Oz.
I will personally fight him for that.
That's
title.
that's simply off the table. It's not going to be Oz Knights. The Aussie Knights?
You're not going to steal my name. You're not going to steal my name from me.
No, Aussie would be AU, not OZ.
Still. But then it would sound like it's my channel if I'm Oz and it's.
I know.
So there you go. Are you willing to?
No, we're not.
No, he's not. Just Game Nights. That's fine. I mean, when you search Game Night, it comes up with our channel.
Yeah, because that's what it used to be Game Night,
Yeah.
but now it's Game Nights, which is what the Command Zone thing is. And by the way, there's actually a lot of channels named Game Night and Game Nights. It's like, but we're their like second largest channel, which doesn't say much because we're small, but we've got about like. Still, it took me over a year to get my first 10,000 subscribers on Chativersity, and we were already like on 62,000 here on Game Night. So we have a leg up. That certainly, I'm not discounting that.
What can I say except you're welcome? I'm kidding. It's not all me.
No, there was there other ones like. I was trying to think of something related to because pop culture. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And cultured nights. And it's like, it's too. I like something
Fame
small.
Nights.
Cultured Nights almost sounds
fan
like food.
nights. Let us know. Like we would like to hear your thoughts in the description. But like, yeah, reaction nights.
Remember the fandom fight back?
Oh yeah.
We were going to have a channel ages back, me and Shadsky, called Fandom Fight Back, but it never went anywhere because I never did anything with it. I did make a cool intro though, didn't I? Remember it looked like a Marvel thing?
Kind of, yeah.
Screw you, man. I worked hard on that. I followed a tutorial on YouTube for that.
So now we'll get in. So with understanding of that things, we'll get into the news, and this isn't to deliver the. This is our reactions, okay? So
Yes.
can't because hang on. Some people are saying we got something wrong in the last one.
What was it?
It was actually so something that people were trying to correct us on the last nightly news. And by the way, even though we're not trying to report the news, if we do actually get something wrong, we'll correct ourselves because we're not serious about it. We're just our reactions. I'm trying to say that the Slave 1 discussion was actually only Lego trying to rename Slave 1 and not Disney. But the principle I still feel applies. Lego are soft then. It's like, what, kids can't have a thing called slave because you shouldn't let, 5-year-olds know about slavery?
Yeah.
You reckon they're
hide it
going to
from them,
enslave their
guys.
friends?
It never happened.
Soft. So anyway, but look, we will acknowledge when, you guys think we get
Can
something
you
wrong.
please make that thing stop?
Please make it stop. Oh, it's on silent now. So now we'll get into the news items that we want to respond to. Oz, take it away.
Well, this one is actually one that you're familiar with.
It is. Ooh.
Kevin Smith is playing a He-Man villain, which is actually just based on him because he's a snake. Shad,
Bit of a lying snake. Bit of a lying snake, old Kevin. So far, now look, I would not have as negative views of old Kevin if he didn't actually try and discredit Clownfish TV. I'm subscribed to Clownfish TV. They do a great job. If you don't know them, you should watch. They do pop culture news, views, and rants, as they say in their tagline. And they actually drop some interesting bits of insider stuff. And they got a tip-off that the He-Man remake called, and it's really kind of like a sequel, but with better animation and all that stuff, called He-Man Revelations, was going to sideline He-Man and focus on Teela. And so Kevin Smith on Twitter comes out a swinging against him, saying that it's totally wrong. Well, I don't even, maybe we should get his exact, response tweet, but trying to discredit them, saying it's going to be all about He-Man and stuff. And it doesn't look like it is. It looks like it actually seems like he was lying through his bloody teeth. That after the first few episodes, they are possibly going to depower He-Man, and it's all good. And Teela, it's all going to be Teela as the main character doing the thing. And there's been like a foreign language trailer that people have found that shows Adam, the guy that turns into He-Man, being treated like an absolute, like he's being depicted as this idiot, basically. Bubbling idiot. The parents is like, why can't you be like Teela, Adam, kind of thing.
Right.
That's the thing, Shad.
And Teela becoming man-at-arms.
Wait a minute.
She becomes man. They actually, knight her as man-at-arms.
Shad, we won't have true equality until every single male hero has been...
No, we won't have true equality until every single woman is a man. That's essentially what they're trying to do.
That's even better.
I can't... They think for a strong female hero character, they need to make them like the male characters. No, okay? They need to make them buff. They need to make them look androgynous and everything. Like, look what they did to Captain Marvel in the comics. You look at some of these images of Captain Marvel, it looks like a dude, okay? Yep. And because they can't have female characters look feminine because that's sexist, because it's sexifying them, because no woman in history wanted to actually look attractive for the sake of looking attractive, and perhaps being attractive to men.
Well, they're trying to change the sexual marketplace for people to have different expectations, I guess. But even
It's
then,
never
we already
gonna
don't have those expectations
What?
anyway.
They think men. They think they're actually going to be able to change a biologically ingrained instinct for men to be more attractive to fitness and health and certain curves over fatness.
They'll
basically.
die trying. They will die trying, and they'll destroy any franchise they have to try.
So. I got a bit dark on Kevin Smith for him trying to throw Clownfish under the bus when they were actually just reporting something that they heard to be accurate, and it seems to be getting confirmed. And then other things have come out about Kevin Smith. He said he's the biggest He-Man fan, and he strikes me as such a fake poser now because he's always on he's beaten, he feels like a total shill, always saying some of the he loves so many of the DC movies recently, and so many of them are garbage. And then I think he also really like double check me on
cried
this.
at Iron Man's death.
Did you like the Star Wars sequels?
Probably.
Because, whoa, like,
anyone who says they're a fan of something is lying. I can prove it. You don't say, if you're an actual fan, you don't say I'm a fan. You say I have been invested in this for this long.
no, and that's an arbitrary standard.
I disagree.
I'm a fan of Star Trek. I'm a fan of Star Wars.
Qualify it.
What do you mean?
Give me a qualifying.
Test my fandom. Give me a
No,
question.
I'm just saying, like, when were you involved with it? How long have you been involved with Star Trek?
The first episode of Star Trek I probably watched when I was, I don't know, 6.
There you
next
go.
Gen.
There you go. See, he can qualify it immediately as soon as I ask.
Yeah, but you can just say that. The thing that really calls you out if you have statements saying the opposite. So Kevin Smith saying, I love He-Man, always been on. Then people found a tweet of him saying he's not really a fan of He-Man in the past. And so I was like, mate, it really looks like you're lying through your bloody teeth here. And I have very
your
little
snake
respect for dishonest people like that. Like,
Yeah.
And now especially because Clownfish TV seems to be getting fully validated by these trailers are dropping. And so this is the thing. I am a fan of He-Man, okay? And I can't, like, seriously, right? I want it, like, there was a toy called the New Powerful He-Man Sword. And it was actually basically some toy that must have been made in China that they repackaged as a He-Man sword because it looked like nothing like the He-Man sword in the thing, but they put the He-Man name on it. Though it could have actually been based off of... There was a He-Man reboot that was more sci-fi, and it could have been based off of that sword, because that sword was different. But anyway, I went ballistic, because I really wanted it and everything, you know? And I got it for Christmas, and it was like my favourite toy. I'd have a He-Man sword. And I did the whole, by the pound, like, I am a fan of He-Man, okay?
See, he qualified it with that awesome story.
Awesome story. I've rewatched the old He-Man recently, and wow, is it bad. Like, the story and animation is low tier, except the He-Man movie where he meets She-Ra. The classic stuff.
Right.
Like, I love it. And the the classic He-Man transformation still gives me goosebumps.
It's a cool noise.
No, the music. Cool. By the power of Grayskull, He-Man.
By the power of Grayskull.
And then the music. It's freaking awesome, man!
Yeah.
Oh, get your blood pumping! Woo! No remade He-Man transformation still holds a candle to that original tune.
They should call the new one Re-Man.
It's so uplifting, that tune!
By the power of feminism, I will
Wait, I'm gonna play it in the thing, the tune. Like, it is so... and his voice, right? By the power of Grayskull, He-Man! It's like that. It's like punches. It's like so masculine. It's like,
Yeah.
It's He-Man, baby, right?
By the colours of the rainbow flag.
And so there was like a 2003 or something reboot of He-Man that was actually pretty good,
Yeah,
and everyone
can't
seems
do.
to forget it. But the transformation still didn't even. They made Adam younger, so there was a bigger contrast between young He-Man and old He-Man. And the way you said it was like, by the power of Grayskull. It's like, man, not even a candle. By the power of Grayskull, He-Man. It's good. I love it.
Shad's a massive nerd.
Man, He-Man is freaking awesome.
I'll be honest, the first time I was exposed to He-Man was that one song they did. You know, and I said, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you seen that? We'll show you later. It's very funny.
I said,
Should we
hey.
fight? Can we?
I know the song, but what
What's
relation
going
does it have it to
I'll show you.
He-Man?
Have you
It's
not
great.
seen the He-Man?
gotta check this out.
Oh,
dude.
no, the meme where it's like, I say, hey.
Yeah,
yes, that one, yes.
It's a full song.
Oh,
Like, It's
really?
a full song, and it is.
Okay.
That's the first time I ever was exposed to He-Man. It's before my time.
Kevin Smith confirmed can speak parcel tongue, and because that's a snake.
Yeah.
language.
got it.
And so, because I am invested in He-Man, we are going to be absolutely doing a review of the He-Man remake. And if they friggin' screw up He-Man, I'm going to be so pissed.
Shad, you know they will.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it because I need to figure out where it's
Like, He-Man is one of the great iconic masculine role models for little boys.
His name is literally He-Man.
He's like the most manly hero. It's literally, he's like man, He-Man. He's the manly man. It's like, he is the man, okay? It's like, I wanted to grow up and be buff like He-Man, have a freaking sword on my back and could transform and all this cool stuff.
And so far, you're 2 out of 3 for that one.
And the thing is, what's great about He-Man, right? I am. What's great about He-Man, there was no pretension, like they weren't trying to subvert anything. What they wanted to do was make the coolest action figure for little boys. What would they love? We'll make this cool, awesome muscle guy or the sword and he can transform. And they just basically masculinity down all the way, right?
It's like Action Man. Like Action Man was like the He-Man of my time, and that's what I grew up. I had Action Man.
Yep.
Like, he had like a minigun that was like twice the size of him.
Freaking
Action Man, the greatest hero of them all.
I actually think it's actually an expression of the male psyche to having action heroes, okay? I think it's an important, healthy part of the male psyche to indulge in that in fan fiction. Yes, power fantasy as well and stuff like that. Because if it ingrains in our own minds to try and be more capable, more protected, because the action hero, the ideal of the action hero is an ideal of protection.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is a great concept to instill in the minds of young boys and men, because when you grow up, if people need protecting, it's going to fall on the people who can perform the action most capably, and that's usually the bigger, stronger people.
Yeah.
That's the male role.
But now we don't have the hero. Now we have the one in billions that, death before duty. That's the thing. It's either anime or 40k that you can pick nowadays for your thing. That's how it works. If you're a man nowadays, our age, it's anime or 40k.
Like I think girls should have their overly feminized everything girly lovey and what do we get that is that not really My Little Pony but Barbie definitely. There's even a show called DC Superhero Girls where it's all about the DC superhero girls. My daughter loves that. Yes, they get that. Give it to the most girly stuff in the world. Boys should get the most boy masculine stuff in the world, and He-Man was exactly that. And they're not getting that, and they friggin' want to feminize little boys so much and sanitize them and all that stuff. So give them the action heroes, the over-the-top masculine friggin' action man He-Man stuff, right? And where is it nowadays? And now they want to subvert He-Man, the greatest friggin' action icon, maleness, everything. Oh.
It's like that. There's a comic creator called Stone Toss who made this comic about it's a guy at a market. He's like a marketing director and he's showing something to the board. It's a picture of 2 gay men kissing and it has a picture of burgers. Buy burgers. And the guy's thinking, how's that going to help us sell burgers? And the guy doing the marketing's like, what do you mean sell burgers? Because it ain't about that. It ain't about trying to. Yeah.
I hate it. And so Kevin Smith, I swear, if you friggin' desecrate He-Man,
He will. It's a certain thing, Shad.
And if he lied about it and stuff,
dude, they came to Kevin Smith like, "Hey, we'll give you this show," and he's like, "Yes, I'll do anything you want," because he has nothing else going.
Basically, that's what the impression I get from Kevin Smith, that he's been simping after relevance and employment for ages, and is willing to sacrifice his standards and everything just so people give him a seat at the table.
I hope we're wrong.
It's like,
I hope we're being too
if he is, gutless coward.
If it's good though, we'll take this all
If it's good, man, I can promote and praise something if it's good the days come home, and you have my loyalty. Castlevania, right?
Castlevania, good so far. Yeah.
Like, seriously, okay? So I definitely don't have impossible standards. I just have standards, and I think people should have standards and not accept crap, like constant crap, shit, shoveled in your mouth, and just with a bow on it called Star Wars. No. You should not accept it.
This isn't a lightsaber, it's a turd.
Yeah. I hate it, right? And so...
Should we move on to the next one before you Hulk out? So...
He-Man has a soft spot in my heart.
I know.
Okay?
Halo had a soft spot in my heart. I understand how you feel. Ghosts of Tsushima. Is it Sashimi? Ghosts of Tsushima. Tsushima. Ghosts of Tsushima is getting the Skyrim treatment, being repackaged and sold again in PS5 instead of PS4 edition.
Where's the PC port, guys?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's Sony, so there never will be. So it's got PS5, 3D
There was one
audio.
for Horizon Zero Dawn, though.
They'll do it eventually because they have money.
Yeah.
But
4K resolution and 60 FPS. And when I was reading the article, there's little parts stood out to me. The writer being a little bitch. He's like, oh, and Japanese lip sync has also been added, which is a really nice touch for those who played with Japanese voiceover, like myself. Yeah, okay, but I bet you have subtitles on anime too, you pussy. Who cares? You weren't looking at their mouths, you were reading the subtitles. Idiot. Yeah, okay, good for you. You listen to...
No, literally, good for him. He can enjoy what he wants.
Yeah, but he's like...
It is very kind of like mustache twirling pretentious.
I listen to the voice
for some reason, my experience is more pure because I did it in Japanese.
Even though I don't understand a word of what they're saying.
Exactly. I will repeat the names of the Japanese movies without knowing the context. Amakaka no Ryo no Hiremeki, Ryukozen, Hiten Mitsurugi. You know what I'm quoting from.
Oh, yes.
Konnichiwa.
What, Ben? What am I quoting from?
Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh, yeah, Rurouni Kenshin. Get that into your veins.
All I know is...
Man, we really need to watch Samurai X Trust and Betrayal.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
It's so good.
All the anime I've seen
and we
recently has been
we
good.
need to watch seasons 1 and 2 of Rurouni Kenshin because Makoto Shishio, oh dude, you will love him.
So I've been saying to these guys for a long time I hate anime, but they've shown me some good anime. So
He came over with my family like last week and we just binged the entire first season of Jujutsu Kaisen.
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was very similar to Naruto though, but modern, which I didn't actually mind. I thought it was pretty good. Okay, so yeah, they're basically giving the Skyrim treatment to a new video game that everyone's liking.
Yeah.
I don't see why that's a big deal. They're going to repackage it and sell it. They did it with Grand Theft Auto. They did it.
I was going to
That's
say,
the
why
thing.
is it called the Skyrim treatment when it's happened with Grand Theft Auto? Like, how many
Well, it
times?
happened with Skyrim first.
Okay, fair enough.
They sold it like 6
I'm on
times.
board. Like, I actually haven't played the game yet, and I kind of want to, but this is where I have my mega snobby, like, I guess, preferences for video games. Character creation. I want character creation, and I don't have character creation in Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima, yes.
Sushi. Ghost of the Sushis.
Yes.
But like it looks brilliant. The game looks
Yeah, it does.
like so good on many levels.
Yeah. That's the thing people are saying about the
Where's my character creation though?
Tsushima, is that it's raw.
Yeah.
Sushi,
raw?
raw.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and especially
Ne-
sashimi.
Yes.
Just on that slight tangent, do you know what does have character creation? Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Dude, we got to get Shad to play Dark Souls and see him
Yeah,
rage.
I'm going to mess with him so hard.
Yep. No, you got to help him. We got to help him.
Yes, we're going to help him, and we're not going to make the game any more difficult than it already is.
I'm winking.
And then
now.
we will be actually playing a game in game nights. It'll
Yeah.
happen.
Yes.
So no need to change the name now. Game nights. So this next story is a bit of a spicy one, I dare say. Trump filing class action lawsuit.
Holding up there. Now, I want to preface this, right? The stuff that we want to respond to in game nights, specifically pop culture, movies, related, everything like that. And so we won't be going into political stuff. And I was reluctant to allow this discussion through, except it has a direct implication on censorship. And a lot of people, we potentially will be at risk for censorship just because we have an obvious conservative lean. All right, some more than others. I think I'm more conservative than you.
Yeah.
What are you?
Dude, I'm just a jack in the box with my stuff, eh? But you can trust that if it's based, I believe it.
Yeah, we're very anti-woke, like in a lot of instances and stuff, and that's enough to get cancelled. Like there's like simple, basic conservative values is enough to get cancelled.
Yeah.
If I said just a simple list of conservative values right here in the
That you
video
believe.
that I believe, that means I'm an alt-right Nazi in most people's like in the extreme left right.
Would you like
By
to
the way,
take this and
we
listen?
really appreciate the lefties that watch us. There's
Yeah.
been some people in the comments saying, "Hey, could you please make a distinction between left and far left? Because I'm a lefty and I hate all the woke crap too." Is that good on you? Thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
but the
And
left aren't fighting the far left.
I think some are.
They're like, oh, guys, I don't want to be seen by you. They're not doing it.
No, because I think they're at risk of the same cancel culture mob as as conservatives and the right.
Well, not while they placate and kowtow to them.
Well, there are people playing town, but not the people watching us. They're supporting us.
Yeah, fair
okay?
enough.
Yeah.
So
If they're
good
a
on
lefty
yous.
like Tim Pool is, then great.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is why we're allowing this thing in, not for a discussion about Trump, but more for a discussion about trying to combat censorship. So content like what we're making has a safer space to have flourish and exist.
And speaking of things that will combat censorship, this Trump lawsuit will not.
You don't reckon it will?
I think it's gonna do more damage.
He's suing Twitter,
Twitter, Google, and Facebook.
Google, and Facebook for specifically them deplatforming him.
Yes.
After events.
Yeah. And I think it's going to do more damage than good, because this is them finally going to be able to set a precedent in civil court, which is going to do more damage to people that do get censored. And yeah, like if he couldn't stop this when he was president, what makes you think he's going to stop it
with the current laws? Yeah, the
current
laws
laws.
needed to change.
Yeah.
And look, I think it's pretty blatant obvious that social media is the new town square. Okay, and blocking people from the largest social media platforms is a type of censorship. Now, people say censorship can only come from the government. The government should protect people's ability to speak in the public square. If the public square are becoming these large platforms, and as a conservative, I've never said I'm against full regulation. This is why, like, putting people in a single box and then assuming all their political positions doesn't really work. And that's why when you label yourself with these labels, right, people can sometimes get the wrong idea because they assume you ascribe to other things that you don't. I am actually fully on board with government regulation to protect basic rights, okay? And I think a basic right should be your ability to have a voice in public discourse. Absolutely.
Like
freedom of speech, yes,
I
right?
feel like the only role the government should have is to protect basic rights. That's the only thing they should be doing. That's it.
And so, in relation to this, if a social media company gets past a certain threshold where they have, like, the fact that they can manipulate like the course of events of history by what they allow on their platforms and what they allow people to get exposed to. And if you think that they can't, they think they can by the very fact they're doing it for those reasons. There's admitted that they want certain
authoritative
outcomes.
Sources.
Yeah, they want certain outcomes and they want to suppress certain discourses and stuff like that. So they definitely think they can manipulate it. Otherwise, why would they even be doing it? And the fact is, yes, they can, because they have such a control over the public discourse. And that's really bad when a private company is having more power than the friggin' government. Okay?
And also, it's the stuff from like a month ago that used to be cancelable and, you know, you'd be kicked off the platform for, turns out to be true.
And the thing is, the other problem is like, I do believe in the free market if we had a proper free market.
We don't.
And so if competitors could actually build a platform and flourish, that would be great. But we see competitors being absolutely just like trounced on, which is a form of insider trading in my mind, where a group of companies collude to just take away what was it, the servers? So this happened with Parler, which was a Twitter competitor, right? And their servers got cancelled because they got them through Amazon. And there's a collusion by these big, tech companies to squash competition. And that type of collusion, in my mind, is very similar to insider trading, where they, and it's not directly, I know what insider trading is.
Isn't it funny, though, that all of these biggest companies in the world all agreed to do the one thing to get Trump off the internet?
Yeah,
the
there's no collusion when they all banned him nearly on the same friggin' day.
The sitting president.
Yeah.
And they tore down entire websites to do it. Really makes you think,
And so there is an issue about this, and if a free market could properly exist, there would be like Parler would be flourishing by now because of the mass exodus that happened on Twitter when Trump was banned, and so. But no, there is not a proper free market at the moment because there is a lot of corruption happening. So Trump is suing them, but because the laws haven't really changed, they can just fall behind the private company protection stuff. And so
that's what's going to happen. And this is just going to entrench it further that the companies can do whatever they want.
Unless there's precedent of laws being broken. I wonder if there is a version of insider trading for collusion, antitrust or something like that,
laws,
of them doing that.
Anti-competitive behaviour.
They might. You'd like to think that his lawyers would have some type of precedent to go after it. My opinion in regards to what these companies should have a right to block and allow and everything. And this would mainly only work in America because freedom of speech is enshrined in their constitution, is that YouTube especially, but all the other ones, can only penalize people for illegal speech. Okay? Calls to violence and all that type of stuff. And they should have no authority to go any further than that. Okay? And they're such cowards because a lot of the censorship comes from their fear of being cancelled and losing advertisers. This is what happened with YouTube, okay? The adpocalypse and all that stuff. When it's so dumb, because it's like everyone I feel who looks at this properly knows that the ad that appears randomly on a YouTube video is not an endorsement by that company for the content of that video. It's a random draw thing. I never watched free-to-air TV with the ads that were just spewed everywhere in them and thought every single ad was endorsing what was being said on the news or the program I was watching or any of that crap. I mean, the narrative that it is a fear tactic to try and control who gets to have a voice on these platforms. And it's disgusting that so many advertisers have fallen for it.
Ideally, for the people who are making these articles saying this stuff, there wouldn't be any voice on the platform because we're their direct competitor. You know, that's why they're making these articles saying, look at these sexist, racist, people getting ads for some reason. They're being supported by the companies, and they're just trying to tear down YouTube because we are their competition. We're their much more successful competition. They can't beat us without dirty tricks and lies. It's true, though.
And so that's really the takeaway, and that's why this lawsuit is interesting. But
it ain't going to work. It's going to do more damage.
I have to just see what happens. Okay, hopefully the censorship will lower, and places,
Shad.
Programs or things like game nights will have a safer place to remain.
I said it in the first nightly news, Chad. Things are getting honked that cannot get unhonked. Okay, the Clown World roller coaster is only speeding up.
Unfortunately, yeah, I would agree with that.
So things won't be getting better anytime soon. They're going to get a lot worse before. But hey, just sit back, take your black pill, drink your non-tea leaf tea, and just...
Don't take the black pill fully.
No, because the final black pill is a white pill.
Okay.
Because you can only have so
There's
much
so many
hope.
damn pills.
It's the final hope to know that there's no hope other than the sweet release of death and God's judgment. That's it. That's the only hope any of us have. Okay?
Before we continue, I know that there's quite a few people in the comments that, say, hey, let Ben say something. I'm not quite as invested in this as these guys, so I'm just happy to listen.
Thank you, Ben.
No worries.
You're learning stuff, though, as we're talking?
I am receiving information. Whether or not I'm learning is still up for debate.
All right, next one?
Yeah, next one.
All right. You will have no idea about this, but me and Ben will.
Okay.
Modding tools for MCC Halo 1 have been released, and I'm starting to hate 343 less. I'm actually quite starting to like them.
Really?
Maybe they watched your video.
Huh?
Maybe they watched your video.
Maybe they did. But no, I think it's because, what's his name? Joe Staten, the guy who was the head of Bungie before, has come back because Bungie was an absolute mess with Halo Infinite when they released this broken piece of crap, and then they immediately brought Joe Staten back to do what he did with Halo 2 and make a game in 10 months, right? The drama here is incredible. I do hate 343, however, for destroying the story of Halo, turning it into Prometheus or some crap. Anyway, they're giving the community more controls by adding the Halo 1 mod tools, which is great. We need them for Halo 2. We know that existed for the Halo 2 PC game back in the day. We need them for Halo 3 and Reach. Please. Please.
Did you have anything you want to share on that note, Ben?
No, Halo is Oz's baby.
So, I have views on modding tools, and I think I know how game devs might assume it's not a win-win, but it is. Giving any game moddability is a win-win.
Keeps
right?
it alive.
Like
Look at
Skyrim is the proof in the pudding. You cannot deny that Skyrim has been kept alive. Like, this is a single-player game with a finite story, which you'd almost think has finite playability, but because of modding, it has stayed alive almost indefinitely, which is astounding.
Not only that, but the modding and just the amount of mods and the kind of mods that there are have actually helped Skyrim keep up with modern release games by mods that improve graphics, mods that improve performance, all that sort of thing. So, I mean, Skyrim was released 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
10 years! And today, because of modding, it looks like a game that is released now.
Yep.
And the mindset that devs have against modding, right, is the fact that they could be making them, like, they think it undermines their DLC ability. That is such a greedy, dirty mindset. And they have that, though. Like, the amount of monetization for DLC is just... and so they want to act like a vampire on their consumers, to just suck them for everything they got.
Unless you're Kate Winslet, you can't do that to me.
Now, the question is, right, the problem is, okay... the games that do that, like it just are vampires, they make an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at Crusader Kings, for
So
example.
the question is, from the game devs, if they just want money and they're not caring about a good quality product, because that should be the highest priority. So screw you that are prioritizing money, because if you make good quality product, you can make a lot of money. But this dirty tactic potentially could still actually make them more. And so the question is, do the game devs that act like scummy vampires with their DLC, are they making more money than, say, Skyrim has with free modding, which has given its lifespan long?
Well, this is the new business model. It was discovered with World of Warcraft. It was then accidentally discovered by Bungie, and they're now starting to implement it across all AAA games. Basically, you sell one game that has barely any content. Then everything else is an add-on that adds new parts of the story. It's an expanding story over the next 10 years, guys, and they will just milk you dry like the thin, underfed cow that you are, and take everything from you.
Destiny 1 was like the big
They are
company.
active. They are
Destiny 2 as well.
Well, yeah, Destiny 2 as well.
They're
yeah.
purposely making worse games, withholding content that oftentimes is ready on release, and then charging people, forcing them to pay
Destiny.
for something that they were originally getting for free in what a standard quality game should be. It's disgusting.
There was a Destiny 2 mission that they sold as DLC that was in the trailer for Destiny 1 that wasn't in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, and they're also doing it for Assassin's Creed now. And this wasn't in here, but I saw it. Basically, what they're doing is they're releasing a game called Assassin's Creed Infinity, and all of the story add-ons will just be added onto that using the same base thing. So it makes sense, though. Instead of doing what like FIFA and COD do, where they just remake a game from the ground up over and over again every year, we'll just have the one base platform and just add things onto it and charge full price games for it. Easy, simple.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? I don't object to moral microtransaction stuff.
Yeah.
Give us a complete game that's great, okay?
The Witcher 3, Blood and Wine, great example.
Right?
Entire new world, $30. Perfect.
Like-
Incredible game.
So there are examples of doing right and people not complaining. And the thing is, allowing moddability, right, doesn't actually take away your ability to sell certain types of DLC.
Yeah.
True, sometimes the mods are better than the DLC.
Yeah.
Right?
In Skyrim's case, that's certainly true.
But sometimes new DLC is a platform to launch new mods on, and so we all friggin' want it.
Yep.
Right? And so
Jeez, you know what? Why don't you just sell the modding tools for like $10?
And like the DLC problem, this happened already a while ago, right? Where it got so far where it's in the clown world territory, where which game tried to monetize a different color, like dot in the middle of the screen, which is your aiming thing.
Yeah, Battlefield 5.
Was it Battlefield? Like
Yeah.
to me,
Oh no, it was Call of Duty World War II.
that is the type of thing that I thought. Remember when Skyrim tried to monetize modding, right?
Yeah.
And someone made a potato of a different color and made it charge like heaps and everything.
Yeah.
And that to me is equivalent to the dot, right? It's like this is the meme in reality. They're not even the mask is off. They're not trying to hide anything. It's alright, and it's clown world monetization, and they're literally trying to push that crap. And I can't believe it. It's
You
just
know,
like,
I'm okay with the monetization of mods as long as it's the modder that's getting paid and it's Bethesda getting a small percentage. The problem with that was, one, people didn't like it. Fair enough, you don't have to like it. But also rights and file distribution is because a lot of modders use files from other modders.
Yep.
And so...
it can't work by
can't work,
that way.
unfortunately.
Modding is a very collaborative, work.
It's
community.
incredible.
It's brilliant.
Decentralized information and stuff. It's incredible. It's the future. Way of the future, people.
Like
Way of the
seriously,
future.
like people are encouraged to make great mods for the sake of making great mods, and they also want feedback. But it's also a platform to launch their own careers in gaming, oftentimes, and so they're able to attract developers' eyes by these great mods. They're like mods are friggin' awesome.
Guy who made DayZ, that was a mod, which then turned into Battle Royale, which then became the biggest genre in video gaming of all time.
And so this type of suppression of mods, disallowing modding tools in games, I hate. But when someone releases modding tools, I'm like, that's actually a massive decision for me if I actually buy a game or not.
Yep.
If it has access to mods or not.
That's the thing, man. It's sure gamers are the most oppressed group of all groups, but game modders are just above that. I weep for you modders. I love you.
We love you, respect you, keep fighting the good fight.
Yep, Eleonora from Skyrim modding community, you're incredible. Comment down below. Yeah. No.
Is that the drunken companion?
I don't think so. She mainly did the house mods, interior decorated mods.
Oh,
They
okay.
looked beautiful, man. It was a lady modder.
There's this companion mod of this girl who's like half drunk all the time.
Yeah, of
and
course you got that one.
She's hilarious though. She like the writing in it was like literally 100 times better than any companion in the game.
Yeah.
And she was
And then there's the Fallout 4 New Frontier mod, which had some really creepy stuff. It was so bad they had to take it down the day after. But here's the thing, right? It was in development for like 4 years. For a very long time. It had tons of people working on it. Everyone was hyped for it.
Yeah.
Then it comes out, and it's got some really creepy stuff by some really creepy developers in it, and they took it down the next day.
what creepy stuff.
Pedophilia stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
But just look, a shout out to dedicated modders. There's a Fallout 4 mod people have been working on that's coming closer to release. Fallout 4 London, and it's basically a new game just with the Fallout 4 tools based in London.
Fallout 4 Miami, Fallout 4... Yeah, we've done tons. Incredible stuff. And they do it for free. They're like the Jannies. They work for free. For free!
Jannies like janitors.
Yes. Shad, the fact that you've said Jannies and janitors on here is that... Oh, so many people are going to be happy. I better see a thread
I
about
don't
this
get
later.
it.
Yeah, of course
I'm
you
not
don't
gonna
get
look.
it. But
I'm
there
not-
will be a thread made about this later. It'll be you. Do it. Do it.
All right. So yes, we love mods here on game nights, and we spit on developers that are scummy.
Yep.
Now, I just want to do a shout out on modding, and for anyone who has played, Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever Crew. I love you guys.
I don't know you, but
Absolutely love you guys.
vicariously I love you too, through Ben.
Just,
You heard it here. Oz loves through Ben.
and
I'm sending my love through him. My love is penetrating... Never mind.
I will not allow that.
The next one. Final Fantasy VII Remake developer says that The Last of Us Part 2 is a benchmark for diversity in video games. Again, we're trying to sell burgers? What? I don't understand. You know?
I don't understand how they can say that when they are literally the Final Fantasy VII Remake developer. What, did it say developer?
Yes.
Okay. Final Fantasy VII literally has one of the most diverse casts of any video game I've ever played. You've got strong white males. You've got strong black males. You've got incredibly strong female protagonists. You have animals.
Yeah, but that's not the point though, man.
It doesn't have any ugly Hulk women.
The point
Okay?
is...
The women in Final Fantasy VII are attractive, and that's wrong. Women should not be allowed to be attractive in video games these days.
Yep.
Well,
But, I
okay,
mean, look at the cosplay community of all the
Yeah.
scantily clad women. They're all really hot. They're all fans of it.
in the
Most
name
of
of
them.
equality, then, Superman, Thor, even He-Man, they're all going to wear like triple XL shirts so that their muscles aren't rippling through their skin tight, or not even. I mean, in He-Man's.
Speak about the skin tight stuff more, Ben.
It's not about equality though. It's about diversity. Diversity. Have you
But I'm
seen?
talking
Have
about a diverse cast. Final Fantasy VII has a diverse cast.
you seen those tweets?
Oz is pointing out the absurdity of putting quality in front of quality.
And that's the
Sorry,
quality,
no, not quality. I mean, putting diversity before quality.
Yeah.
It's like, just make a good freaking game.
This is the quote, and this comes from Motomo Tirayama.
Yeah, Toriyama.
Yeah, he says this: "The Last of Us." Hey, that's my reading, Mister. I'm not allowed to read your articles.
Yeah, stop looking.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Hang on, Ben. Are you the type of guy that when you're peeing next to another guy, goes just has a glance to compare?
No, I always use the cubicles.
Okay.
Well, he
I
has
don't
to
wanna
know
make
if
other
the
guys
guy's the
jealous.
biggest stick.
Yeah.
It's like in Warfare.
Just in case girls didn't know that, guys do that sometimes.
Yeah. I'm sure women do the same thing, but opposite ways underneath the thing. Anyway, okay. The Last of Us Part 2 really delivered on its consideration for diversity, right down to the UI, user interface.
It had a diverse user interface.
Yeah,
I heard that it had the most diverse difficulty settings in the game. Like you could really tweak the difficulty settings really extensively. I'm my source skill up on his review, and Last of Us in that.
yeah, right down to the UI. And I would imagine that that the cost of debugging on that game was massive, which isn't a great business decision, is it? However, having achieved that makes it a great game that sets the benchmark for the industry.
Is he trolling and being sarcastic here?
I bloody hope so, because if he is, he's a genius, but he's not.
Because he's saying a UI makes a great game and diversity make a great game.
diverse UI.
I thought, like, good story, great characters, not being pretentious, not trying to slap the audience in the face, and great gameplay and all that stuff would make a good game.
But it's funny because he says, and I imagine the cost of debugging on that game was massive. So is he saying that diversity is costly?
That's what I mean. Like,
That's incredibly sexist and racist.
It sounds like he could be a bit trolling here, being a bit sarcastic. He's like,
Maybe.
it's a great, because he's not complimenting the game. He's like, it had a great diverse UI, and the amount of debugging, because there were so many problems, that freaking game would have been huge. So good on him. I'm like, is it that? Am I taking it out of context?
At this point, these people have such mental gymnastics. They're like a bloody troubadour.
I don't know, but like, trolls have mental gymnastics, and if it's trolling,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that expressing diversity with the LGBTQ plus inclusion is an important issue.
Hang on,
for
is this
everyone.
coming from a Japanese person?
Yes. I thought the Japanese were based, dive bombing Americans and committing seppuku, but no.
No,
Very
we
not based.
disavow that comment.
Very not. Hey, Pearl Harbor was pretty cool. Made a bad movie, but it was a pretty cool tactic.
Japan has been the last bastion of sanity and just, like, look at anime. I was like, we're making
Look
cool
at
stuff.
anime? That's not a good example for Japanese sanity, Shad.
No, well, there's that note. But no, just making stuff that is cool and not bowing to, censor mobs or demanding, you have to have these checklists. It's like, no, screw that. We're just going to make something awesome.
I just think the absurdity of you saying the Japanese not bowing.
Yeah, right.
I'm so sorry for offending you. All right.
Well, they bow so much in person that they don't bow to Western pressure to change what they like making.
Well, apparently they do. Inclusion is an important issue for everyone involved in the making of content, not just people making video games. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, we rebuilt the game using the latest technology, but we felt that it should not stop at the technical side, and we needed to update the story content being shown in line with modern sensibilities. I have one thing to say to that. Off.
Careful with the swearing. You need to improve on your swearing.
I'm sorry, Shad, but I'm just so black-pilled and angry. I'm so angry. I just can't hold it all in. It's like a poop that needs to come out. Full of poop.
Remaking the story. Like, I didn't play the original Final Fantasy VII. I've been holding off playing the remake until the whole story is, released and you don't have to wait. And even then, it doesn't have character creation.
It doesn't.
But it has a really big sword, so maybe.
You know what does have character creation to some extent? The Witcher 3, which is an incredible game. Big sword.
Actually, no, The Witcher doesn't have character
Yes, it
creation.
does. You can dye his hair, you can change his clothes.
No, that's not character creation.
What's character creation? I already know, but
Yeah,
still, when we get into
like
these things,
like the definition of just the words.
just make them completely from scratch.
Yeah.
Do they have to be human? Can it be a little blob?
I
that
like
just rolls
more. I
around?
like some options. Human is the base standard, and then you
Wow,
can expand it out.
incredibly racist.
Yeah, I prefer playing humans over blobs. What was that the game Biomutant? I did not play it because it was like too many furries.
Yeah, I hate fairies. I actually support
And
fairies.
I prefer playing a human character over an animal character.
I will support fairies if they allow us to hunt them down like the animals they claim to be. That's the only situation. It's like lesbians. If they're both hot, fine.
Okay, so
It's like gay men if they're both massive and scary. I'm not going to say anything.
I
to them.
wonder if we'll have to see about this Final Fantasy stuff because we'll have to see what comes out. Usually Japan is pretty based, so Last of Us, yeah.
It's funny because that's the last one they'll make. They're not making any more. It's done.
I thought they were going to try and shoehorn a sequel, but everyone was going to just...
No one's going to play it. Everyone's going to be like, oh, this sucks. Because it is going to suck. Because they killed Joel. And the father-daughter relationship was the thing that hold that game together. I didn't even play either of them, and I know that.
I would have played Last of Us, it got so many good reviews, and I was like, I might give it a go. But then the crap in Last of Us 2, I don't want to be invested in a story and then be stabbed in the back, kicked in the balls afterwards. No. So I'm not going to invest in these characters to see them disrespected later on, so I won't play it. So they even screwed over their first game, which is objectively, by many standards, brilliant.
Yeah.
People love it. Now I won't even play that now because of what the number 2 did.
Good job, guys. But that's the thing. The left, they ruin everything. They used
The
to be
extreme left.
Again, you qualify with extreme, and they're barely extreme. Barely.
Depends, but it's the voices on that side. All right, so next article then. So some of these news articles we did grab from Discord. Like I said, we want them related to kind of pop culture and games, movies, and related. So the one that was about, Judean trees?
Yes.
Yeah, probably not the type of news we're after, thank you, though.
Yeah, that's botany nights you're looking for. Go to botany nights.
There is this last one that was posted.
What? Might have
There's
missed.
a community torn apart by hackers, Apex
Oh, yeah.
Legends and Titanfall.
I didn't actually hear about this.
Great YouTuber, I'm subscribed to him for a while, Upper Echelon Gaming. Basically, Titanfall 1 and 2, their multiplayer servers have been taken over by like one single hacker who's basically destroyed them, banning people from the game, blacklisting them, all this sort of stuff. It's incredible. And now they're doing it to Titanfall 2, not Titanfall 2.
This isn't good,
Apex.
though.
It's not good. It's hilarious.
No, that hacker should be friggin' hung.
They can't get him.
No, that's not good.
He has deep, intimate knowledge of the networking. He's a genius.
No.
Honestly, shut.
Why
this guy's
are you
a genius.
supporting this?
I'm not
It's
supporting it.
brilliant.
I'm not
Okay.
supporting it. It's awful.
Why?
It's
But-
funny though.
No, that's what he wants. He wants the validation of people saying it's funny, and that encourages stuff. I hate this type of crap. Like people like that, sadistic people who just like to screw for the sake of screwing things up to make the lives of people worse.
Yeah, it's awful. But no, the reason it's funny, right, is because for months, actually, I'm pretty sure years, the Titanfall 1 community was begging EA and Respawn to do something about the hackers on Titanfall 1 because they're selling it on Steam, yet it's impossible to play online and it's an online-only game. And so they did nothing about it, and now it finally comes to get their flagship
So
game.
you
Apex
think this is a
Legends.
bit of comeuppance, eh?
Yes. Perfect comeuppance. This is what you get, you corporate pricks, for just ignoring people's problems who bought your product.
To be fair, though, it's EA. Like, when
Yeah, exactly.
When
What
were
do
they
you-
actually going to do something about it? Hey, we'll fix it if you pay a friggin' microtransaction.
Even then. Like, they already bought the game, it's non-playable, and they won't do anything to fix it.
Yeah.
So this is what you get. This is your comeuppance. And yeah, it sucks that there's tons of people who have been not able to play. But, you know, this is the bed that EA made, and so everyone's forced to lie in it now, and that's why I think it's hilarious.
So I have to admit, Petrus Eckstein, he's dropped some great news articles actually, kind of cover. He's got the Ghost of Tsushima Next Gen version paywall.
I'm pretty sure that's the guy that keeps messaging me on my phone.
Oh, is he?
I think
he
so.
He was like He-Man stuff. We're already kind of talking about He-Man. Netflix bans mentioning politics in reviews for Resident Evil. I heard a bit
specifically
about
avoided
that.
this one.
Why?
Because... Why?
Because people review stuff based on politics, and that's garbage. They say because there's not so much... People literally say, not enough representation, bad game,
Yeah.
or movie, and they're downgrading things that sometimes can be really, really good
Yeah.
for these arbitrary bullcrap standards that have no relevance on the true quality of the product.
But this is just one more straw on a camel that's already dead. You know what I mean?
No, we're trying to... This is like a fight back. Well, this one, not so sure. I reckon Netflix are friggin' hypocrites, because out of any, platform, in terms of putting subversive political messaging injected into so much crap, look at Cuties, friggin' Netflix.
Well, I'd blame the French for that one.
Well, this is my other thing. It's like Netflix obviously is a big machine with many wheels, all right?
Yep.
And so I think there are some really dirty developers in Netflix that are doing some disgusting things, but there are some honestly good ones who are making good quality stuff. And so it's kind of like, it's like one of those things, you know? Do
Even
you?
a broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, they can make some good stuff.
Did you see them? Did you see the recent
Castlevania.
one? Did you see the recent one? It's called Sex Life. It's a romantic thing. Basically, this woman wants to cheat on her husband with her ex-boyfriend because he's got a big D, and the husband basically cucks the entire thing, trying to fix things with his wife, who's an awful person. Yet she's the main, character, the main hero.
That sounds awful on
Yeah.
so many... And that's the crap... Like, I hate so much of what Netflix is
Yeah.
making, right? But there's this one or two diamond in the roughs, right? Or that's culturally relevant, like Witcher, right? Whereas, like...
Even then,
I know Witcher
sucks.
wasn't that great, in my opinion, right?
Henry Cavill
I
wasn't
enjoyed
good.
it.
Yeah.
Wasn't good. And I enjoyed Henry Cavill as The Witcher.
And had
but,
Jaskier.
But... It's important for me to see that so we can let other people know. Like, Netflix is going to be making a He-Man thing. I don't reckon, guys, don't watch He-Man until, you can do what you want. But I'm
Loki,
suggesting,
don't watch it till we talk about it.
let us fill you in if it's really bad or not. And that's what I use reviewers for that, and so we kind of made this channel. Like, there were so many shows I was like, thank you for letting me know, I will avoid that now. But now I'm kind of in that place where I've got to take the bullet and watch so much crap for you guys.
Like,
to try.
I'm not going to watch the new Game of Thrones. I've seen every other episode of Game of Thrones multiple times. I'm not going to watch the new one.
But there's a couple ones coming up that I'm so concerned about.
Yep.
And I'll be watching like a hawk. It's the Wheel of Time TV series.
Oh.
I'm scared. I'm so scared they're going to screw it up.
They will.
Wheel of Time is one of those things that's so dear to my heart, right?
Who do they have working on it? Do you know?
I haven't, I can't say names or anything, but...
If you can find the showrunners and find what else they've done, you can figure it out.
Right? And so we'll be reporting on that big time. And that's coming out, I think it's on Amazon. And then also the Lord of the Rings TV series.
Oh,
that one's Amazon. I think Wheel of Time is someone else.
Existed.
I know, right? And so we'll be reporting on that, He-Man. And so I'm worried.
You know what was a good TV show that was fantasy? Which you guys probably should watch. And it does have current day politics, but it doesn't push it so hard. It's actually pretty honest. It's called Carnival Row. It's like The Witcher meets Sherlock Holmes modern day.
I watched the first few episodes, but it didn't hook me.
You didn't like it? You didn't get to the war part?
I didn't hook me. I think I only got like first or second episode.
It was really good. It actually was very good. Murder mystery set in a steampunk world with fantasy creatures and Orlando Bloom doing an actual good job for once. He's actually compelling.
Orlando Bloom has only been properly enjoyable for me in the Three Musketeers movie.
Where he's a villain.
Where he's the villain.
Yeah.
And he actually, because I've been doing I've been watching a couple of movies over with the EFAP crew, with Critical Drinker and Carl Benjamin and stuff, and then Maul and everyone, and we're watching like historical based ones. They're like Mauler, he has like a backlog of so many stuff. Well, we've watched a lot of movies. We've watched the King Arthur one.
Knight's Tale.
So we've watched Knight's Tale. We've watched Troy. We've watched...
Troy's good.
We've watched Mask of Zorro. We've actually watched a lot of movies already together, and it was heaps of fun.
And the really cool thing is, every single time you did, you woke me up.
I know, right? And we watched the Three Musketeers one, and one of the things that we kind of enjoyed doing is we watched Kingdom of Heaven as well, right? And so we watched ones with Orlando Bloom, and he is such a stale actor, right? Especially in Kingdom of Heaven. And so we're watching this, right? And part of it is like Carl, and he's just like, "Come on, Orlando, emote, man, give us something." And it's just like,
but in this one, in Carnival Row, it's great. So you could say he's a late bloomer.
But no, because in the Three Musketeers, he actually emotes and he hams it up a bit, and I liked him in it. So Orlando Boom,
Orlando Boom.
He doesn't bring the boom much. He is a bit flat.
Yeah, and Carnival Row has Cara Delevingne in it, and she's actually good in that too. So it's actually a good show with bad actors who do a good job. It's so strange.
So I find it very hypocritical that Netflix is saying ban mention of politics in reviews. Specifically, this is for Resident Evil.
What are you going to talk about in the review then?
This is for Resident Evil, so I'm not sure it's like I haven't looked. Remember, get the news from others. This is my reaction to it, right? So I'm not sure if it's just. I think it's just for this property, not for everything, because I'm sure they want like I don't know, Sex Life or what's the other one? There's something about talking to white people. What's that?
Dear White People.
Dear White People. Like they want politics. Like they're banking on those crappy shows to be counted good just because it ticks the right check boxes.
What if we made a show called Dear Black People? I'd say, Dear Black People, your music sucks. I'm sorry. It was better in the 1970s. Funk and all that. That was awesome. I love funk music.
I'm not a fan of rap either.
Yeah, it sucks. I think white people ruined it, actually.
Except for Eminem. He's a freaking...
old Eminem was good.
Yeah.
Now he sucks. But he does have he has bars written down in case Trump ever responds.
I get like Resident Evil. Who would review this Resident Evil movie for its politics? It's just ridiculous. But people would, because there are heaps of people to do. And so I don't think it's a sign of them going in the right direction, because Netflix is lost cause.
Yeah.
They just don't want one of their movies that could make bank get voted down, and so that's kind of my hot take on
I think
that,
they're
it's not really informed.
I think they're trying to obfuscate. They're trying to be like, no, there's no politics here. Don't even mention it. Why would you even talk about politics? It's just completely normal that we've recast half the actors to be a completely different colour than they are. You know? Like, Wesker is meant to be a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, evil Ubermensch.
Really?
You know? Yeah, that's what Wesker is.
Is this in Resident Evil?
His name is Albert Wesker in Resident Evil.
Oh.
But he's been recast to the dude from The Wire, who did a great job in The Wire, by the way, as the captain. And it's like...
Well, see, this is, so like, is that why they don't want the politic talks?
Yes, because they've done the diversity casting again. It's like they've literally gotten an Aryan Ubermensch supervillain, right, and replaced him with a guy who looks like Sid.
What annoys me about the whole kind of discussion about re-race casting, right, is that hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what annoys. I actually don't care if they remake the race of a character if it helps or there's a good reason. And the perfect example I always go back to is the Daredevil film with Ben Affleck, where
Michael Clark Duncan,
they cast
big man, he's a hero.
They cast Michael Clark Duncan as the Kingpin. Brilliant,
incredible.
And the reason I get is like he conveyed the size and imposing nature that the Kingpin has in the comics because he's huge.
He's an incredible actor.
He's like one of the only actors that have that size and everything. And so that was actually, to me, a more accurate portrayal of the Kingpin, even though he was black. I was like, yeah, because the actor suited the role better.
Yep.
Perfect.
He was incredible.
No issue with it at all.
I miss Michael Clark
I actually think making Nick Fury black was an improvement. Like,
because what's his name? Sam Jackson is so charismatic.
He is. Do you know that one of the live action actors they had for Nick Fury before Sam Jackson?
Who? You say David Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff. It was David. I'm not kidding.
Take this axe and cut my head off.
There's the Nick Fury movie with David Hasselhoff. Okay.
Oh my god.
And so compare, like Samuel L. Jackson versus David Hasselhoff. Who's going to own the role more,
You know who would have made a good, Nick Fury back in the day? Kurt Russell. Short-haired Kurt Russell.
Freaking
So
hell, man.
another great example of an appropriate kind of changing character to make it work well. The new Lost in Space, and again made by Netflix. Not great, enjoyable. I found it enjoyable.
I haven't seen it. I saw the original.
I saw it watchable. Right? They changed the what's the guy? The evil guy, Dr. Smith? Is it Dr. something?
Danger Will Robinson.
Yeah. There's the shifty. I think it's Dr. Smith. Right? Okay. Changed his character into a female. The thing is, though, it surprisingly worked really well for the character. She, like, the character they make is this, she's really insecure, she's really manipulative, and it actually worked really well because there is an old saying, right? On average, there is a difference between men and women, okay? And that poison is a woman's weapon. And so all these devious tactics and stuff like that actually made more sense for this character being a female for the way that they were responding, manipulating, undermining things and stuff like that. And there was this kind of, not all women, of course, are sensitive and insecure, okay? I'm not saying that, but it felt really natural for this character. She had a very strong amount of insecurity, and she ends up murdering someone by accident because she was, not able to figure out, and it worked really well with the character.
Murdering by accident.
No, well, what it was is someone found out that she was posing as a doctor to get on board this ship.
She wasn't a doctor.
She wasn't a doctor, but she was very smart. She's very clever and manipulative, and so she was going to be thrown off the ship and go to jail, but things happen, I forget the exact course of events, that ends up then being locked into a, what's the thing, get shot out into space, an airlock by accident, okay? And I was going to vent unless she pressed no. But if she pressed no, he would report her and she'd go to jail. And so she doesn't know what to do and she's freezing up and she's starting to cry and everything like that. And she froze up to the point where he got vented before she pressed it, and it was more of a result of inaction and fear and nervousness. But his death was, a result of her inaction, and it just fit really well with the character. She is a much better Dr. Smith than the Lost in Space movie.
See, that's a morally grey villain, morally grey who's becoming a villain. That's a great character transformation.
But the fact that she was female elevated a lot of the character traits this character had by emphasizing certain stereotypical feminine behaviors that fell in line with the character, how he worked. So it can be done really well. I'm not actually against the idea of switching things up when you can justify it. When it's just for political reasons, that's when it gets hang on. And I get annoyed with the hypocrisy because, especially if it's a historical character. That's when we talked about the Anne Boleyn thing, like trying to cast Martin Luther King with...
what's his name? Good old... what's his name? Who's the guy from... He's from Drive. He was in La La Land.
Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Gosling. Not Martin Luther King, though. Maybe Obama?
Obama. That's what I mean. For historical figures, we're in Clownland that you would race swap a historical figure. It's like, are you insane? Are you insane?
You know who'd actually play white Obama? George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Do you see it? I see it?
Maybe. But the thing is, it's even racist to impersonate, I
can do Obama.
Well,
here's the thing,
so
Michelle.
Let's get into hot take territory. I'm not against actors playing different races than what they are. we've done it in the past.
You racist.
Okay, but the thing is, and you might say, well, then hang on, why do I have a problem with the black woman playing Anne Boleyn? The difference in the past when they did it, they tried to make the person look like the race that they were meant to be portraying. And so there are Hollywood people, like, is it Breakfast at Tiffany or something like that? Some actor plays an Asian man and he does a big
Breakfast at
stereotype.
Tiffany's.
Like, oh, kind of thing, you know?
That was a stereotype.
It was a stereotype.
Robert Downey Jr.
for
played a
comedy.
black guy.
For comedy.
But do you remember Robert Downey Jr. wore blackface in Tropic Thunder?
See,
that was hilarious.
It was hilarious, right? But this is why they can't do it anymore, because like back in the day, it would make sense for immersion to make the person you're portraying, the actual character, to make yourself look like them. And by the way, they tried to do this in a crappy movie, I don't like it, Cloud Atlas. There's this Asian character who is appearing in different time periods or whatever, and at one point she appears as a European, like Southern Belle or aristocrat, and so she comes in wearing aristocrat, and they tried to make her look European, and she looks horrible, but they did give her the white face, right?
Yeah.
And it was pretty darn funny. But the thing is, that's what I would actually prefer if you're trying to portray someone who's supposed to be of a certain ethnicity, the character or a historical figure. Do your best to make them look like it, and I don't actually have. And because sometimes there is enough. Or sorry, I should say there is a little enough difference between the race of the character you're trying to play in your original race that you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Like there's what's that Moses movie with Kristen Bale, where the guy playing the Pharaoh, right?
He's Australian.
They just give him a bit of a tan, do the eye makeup. I was like, all right, yeah, you can pass him as Egyptian.
Or Gods of Egypt.
Gods of Egypt.
Where it had like just entirely white cast. Like the dude who played the Sky God.
But the thing is, there is not as much difference between like you know, a tanned Egyptian, not a black Egyptian, and a white person than there is between a white person and a black person. And the thing is, people cry bloody murder if you have a white person putting on blackface to play a black character now because of the racial origin and everything like that. To me, as an uncultured Australian who doesn't have the cultural historical baggage of all the racism in the past and everything like that, to me I just see that as set dressing. Like
The reason they don't like it is because there was a lot of really racist movies back in the day.
Yeah, I get
Ronald
that.
Reagan was in one of them, surprisingly. I can't remember what they're called. Something.
And
Shores.
I do get the argument of why don't you just cast the person of the race to play the role, but then they friggin' hypocrites do the exact opposite when you have someone like Anne Boleyn. It's like they cry bloody murder when they don't cast someone of the actual race of the character because all these minorities not getting the roles, and then they do the exact opposite just for their... it shows that they're not actually after a cohesive idea. They're after power, they're after all the bullcrap, and they're willing to be complete, utter bloody hypocrites because they're not after proper, you know, the race playing the role of the character's race and any of that. I think, okay, I can see the thing about saying cast a character, an actor that is the same race as the thing, but if there's not too much difference between the character and the race, the actor and the race, and there's a bigger name actor who could do the role justice and draw more crowd, of friggin' course you would cast the bigger name actor. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. And I don't think there's actually anything too wrong with a bigger name actor who could draw in a crowd to do just some basic makeup things if there's not too much difference to make them represent the race that they're playing now, because the whole purpose of an actor is to pretend to be someone you're not.
Yeah.
It's getting to absurd land now where you can't act or pretend to be anything different than what you are. So if you're not a totalitarian dictator, you can't pretend to be an actor. And we saw that with the whole thing with the Black Widow actress.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, how they cancelled that whole movie because she was going to be playing a trans character.
Well, then
she's not really
that.
trans.
Then there was before that when she was doing Ghost in the Shell. They were angry
Ghost
that
in the
she was
Shell.
playing a Japanese lady, but also before that happened, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson was meant to be playing the boss, the Japanese boss, but they changed it because of the thing. Apparently,
See, I don't get that because I think the movie is called Birdcage. Is it with Robin Williams and?
Yeah, but they're not trans.
No,
Just gay.
but they're gay, but they're not actually gay men.
But see, actors aren't allowed to pretend to be things they're not. You have to have a gay character play, but gay actor play gay. It's freaking.
But they're not
you're telling
cancelling
me an actor
Birdcage
who's-
because it's freaking amazing.
An actor whose job it is to play someone else isn't allowed to play someone else.
I don't get that at all.
It's
nuts.
utterly
Yeah,
stupid.
you need an actual tech billionaire genius to play Iron Man. Only Elon Musk can play Iron Man.
Yes. Why did you cast Elon Musk?
Sure, he's got negative charisma, but damn it, we need to be.
He
correct.
really does. It's negative. Like he's
Yeah.
like
Sure, he's an interdimensional space wizard with no human personality, but damn it,
But and Zuckerberg is as well. Like, what are
he's
they-
an international space lizard.
He's like a robot. It's
no,
like,
he's
what's
literally
going on
Data
with
from
those
Star Trek, except less charismatic.
So great news articles, guys, in Discord. If you've got any more news articles, and look, we won't get to them all, but we try and get to the ones that are relevant or more in the pop culture mindset. So thank you for recommending them. But this has kind of been nightly news.
Yep.
And I think we don't want to say we've given you the news because we don't get the news.
We've
from
told
us.
you what some news was.
And we've talked about the news. That's it. These are nightly news where we talk about the news.
Sometimes.
Sometimes
not.
So until next time, I don't know. Bye.
See ya.